Today I'm supposed to give a lecture over in Stanley Hall, which is right over there. And an hour early to campus, I'm going to take a walk around and get a coffee. And whether this ambition will cost me my pride and reputation, of which there's very little left at this point anyways. Okay, this is Evans Hall. Excuse me. Okay. Wow, people just leave their scooters parked right outside. Very trusting. Yeah, Evans Hall is where the lectures for mathematics usually are held. I remember coming here as a high school student to take a calculus class over the summer. I guess this is what people typically do now in Evans Hall. Wow, that's interesting. It's like half on Zoom and half in real life. So, yeah, here's something cool. So, this used to be the Hearst Engineering Center. Now it's the Grimes Engineering Center. So Grimes is, or was, no way, he's still alive. So Michael Grimes is an EECS grad who decided that engineering didn't pay as well as business and decided, I think he became a managing director at Morgan Stanley. And that's how he got the money to, I guess, pay for this building over here, which is awesome, except I didn't get to use it while I was a student, which is unfortunate. Looks much nicer than the dank sort of space that we had to deal with. Remember, it used to be Bechtel. Yeah, Bechtel was the official name. Now, Bechtel is a company that I've never heard of anymore. I think they do civil engineering, but anyhow, look at all those students studying. It's like, must have exams coming up, or maybe not. Maybe that's just what Cal students always do. I mean, when was I never studying? Life can suck as a student, so when life sucks really bad, there's food and beverage to keep you entertained. Come with me. We'll take a look at this. So this is another space that wasn't here before, but it's the coffee shop. It's the coffee shop called Qualcomm Café. Qualcomm, yes. Owning Qualcomm stock has been a big pain in my ass, considering they should be much more profitable than they are. Okay, where do I order coffee? I order coffee here. Somebody didn't want their receipt. No receipt, please. Okay. Hi there. Hey, can I order just a large drip coffee? Yes.
Is that all for today?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I can think of, yeah. Tap, pay, get my coffee on. Okay, so anyhow, it looks pretty active in this building. Yallies. Well, that's cool. We got an orange juice squeezing machine. Sweet.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Got my coffee. Ready to go. What is there more to say? I'm actually in the Sutardja building now. So this is the Sutardja building. For those of you watching in Indonesia, Sutardja was one of the benefactors. Well, actually, there's two Sutardjas. There's Sahat, who passed away last year, and then there's Pankaj, who is still alive, and they both co-founded Marvel Semiconductors, which is a company that builds, I think they build hardware for Ethernet. And since Ethernet is everywhere, basically every time somebody wants internet, they get paid. What a business model. Banatao. Okay, Banatao, another benefactor. Banatao is a Filipino benefactor based out of Manila, I think, and so had a few SCET events over in that building too as well. Okay, let's try this coffee out and see if it's any good. If you're really good at walking through Berkeley, you'll be able to dive in and out of buildings and pop out of the next side. So let's see over here. This hallway brings us to Corey Hall. Corey Hall is where the electrical engineering computer science building is. Or actually, it's more the electrical engineering building now. This is the building in which I spent many a nights wiring circuit boards and playing with spice. I don't mean like cooking. I mean the simulation program for integrated circuit emulation, which was, yeah, it was okay. It was okay. This is not as bad as coding was. So that's Corey Hall. But out of Corey Hall came a lot of really important innovations, such as a lot of the, what do you call it? The really small transistors that go into like the M series of MacBooks, these 2 nanometer processes, tiny 30 billion transistors on a single die. I think they were pioneered here in Corey Hall. My advisor, Sujay King, was one of the early researchers on devices and getting essentially the transistors smaller. So contributions to her side too as well. Over in Davis Hall is this gigantic concrete monolith. It looks like part of a bridge support system, which is appropriate because Davis Hall is home to the civil engineering faculty. Civil engineering, when I first came to Berkeley, was a really hot topic because we had a few earthquakes, and so people didn't want to mess up so much, and there was a lot of budget put into retrofitting buildings for earthquakes. But now civil engineering is there with, well, there you go, mining. So that's the Hearst mining building where they work on mining engineering. So I think it was one of the original faculties to be established here in the University of California. One of the original benefactors was William Rand of Hearst, and he had mining interests of, basically extracting gold out of the ground. So that's important. Not a very polite industry to talk about these days, I suppose, but essential to get us where we are here today. Let's see. I could walk around and keep on vlogging, or I could actually prepare for my lecture. I guess I'll walk around a little bit more. I'll walk this way. Okay, so I was thinking about visiting the computer science building, but I mean, computer science doesn't really need a building these days. The essence of computer science seems to be it's all done virtually. I mean, even the virtual work is done virtually now. So what do I mean? Back in the day in computer science, you were forced to either work by yourself in your dorm room, or if you wanted, you could get together in the laboratories where they had sun spark stations, which were pretty cool, like these thin terminals attached to powerful, hefty spark processors that chugged away big computing projects. But anyway, the drawback to that, or the benefit of that, was everybody got to get, wow, this is a beautiful engineering building. I wish this was built when I was here. That's too bad. Yeah, well, at least I'm back again to share my wisdom. So, God, what was the devil I was talking about? Computer lab. So computer lab was cool because you could get together with other fellow computer scientists and jam on projects and think about what to do with your recursion loop, or pointers, or memory allocation. And God, I remember, oh my God. Okay, so right over here, right over here where these cactuses are, there used to be a little cubby space right in there, and there would be a self-guided computer science programming class that you would take for 1 unit of credit. 1 unit. So the normal classes give you 4 units. If you learn programming, you get 1. That's how cheaply they thought about actually learning how to program here at Berkeley. It's self-taught and it's only 1 unit. I think I failed twice. I failed the 1 unit class on learning programming in C, which is, I'm pretty sure, not even really used these days. But getting back to the virtualization of computer science instruction. So I guess with the pandemic, everybody just started learning on Zoom. And then now it's like, well, why do you need to learn on Zoom anymore? Why don't you just watch a YouTube video and answer some questions, right? And now it's like, well, why do you need to watch a YouTube video and answer some questions when you can have an AI answer your questions? So this makes teaching computer science actually quite challenging in terms of a robust and actually effective curriculum to give the students something to really dig in onto. So I don't know. I go all these days and it's empty and there's nothing to see really. If you really want to see what computer science looks like, you would be best served by having screen share market, right? You could have everybody on a simulcast sharing their screens, and you could discover what really smart people are doing in their workflows that you're not doing. That might be computer science. But now that I think about it, this is actually a cool insight. I thought about it, yeah. Computer science is now more of a philosophy. In philosophy, you don't really, the bike racks, yes. Never know what you're gonna get at the bike racks. You might get your bike back whole, you might come back with a missing wheel, you might come back not at all. So all these really clever people who figured out how to crack bike locks. God. So I remember back in the day, we used to use this U lock. It was bent in a U. But the pros and cons of that was, I think if you really wanted to take one off, you could, bolt cutters wouldn't work, but a car jack would. You could put a slim car jack in between the bend in the U, and then just keep on jacking it until the bar popped off. Oh, how do I know that? Investigation, the internet, anarchist cookbook. So, okay, let's go to Stanley Hall and get ready. This is one of my favorite places. This is one of the hidden monuments of the university campus. This is the Nobel Laureate parking area. This is reserved if you have won a Nobel Prize. So it reminds me of those silly t-shirts that say, I did a whole list of things and all I got was a stupid t-shirt. But I suppose getting a parking space here is an honor. But I'm thinking the real honor these days is to allow you to work remote, right? So you don't even need parking. CRISPR lady, Jennifer Doudna, I think, invented CRISPR, or pioneered research that led to CRISPR. So who cares about CRISPR? People who want to engineer genes care about CRISPR. Apparently it allows you to cut and form genes so that you can eat more genetically modified organisms. It's so strange. It's like, yes, we give a person a Nobel Prize, and then we condemn the products made by their Nobel Prize, which is exactly the same as the origin story of the Nobel Prize, because it started with people who were making dynamite, remember? It's 5 o'clock, it's time to begin. Here's the auditorium, and I guess in I go.
Hey! You're doing it.
Yeah, I'm
just gonna come and just gonna bomb you. Hi, for me.
Yes, exactly. I was gonna get in,
so
but
excited you're back.
Me too.
Oh.
I'm trying to get through, but I think I'll go through the opposite door because I'm gonna set up my laptop.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll walk over there with you.
All right. So yeah, she's already
Okay.
getting the setup. I'm supposed to go in incognito, so that helps us.
really?
Well.
Like just like a student?
Yeah. So how's it going? Oh yeah. Do I need to bring my up or?
I have it in
Oh,
there.
you have it. Oh yeah, just with the clicker. Yeah.
I have a clicker too. Do you have a clicker that you like?
No, that's good. All right, cool.